What's up guys, welcome into the last gameplay video of Season 1 of the Road to Nats. I've been really stoked running Yellow Luffy the last couple of weeks, and I feel like the meta is diverse enough that if you know your matchups well, you can do pretty good in big tournaments. The deck list is mostly the same as it has been, we've just been tweaking ratios. We did cut Bonnie back down to 2 and Robin back up to 4 since the last video that we put out. But I just wanted to cover a couple of matches that I feel like I'll probably see this Saturday. Let's jump into it. Game 1 we are going to pair into Draco Mihawk. I'm going to opt to mulligan my hand there, but we draw into a much better start with the Lilith Kikanojo Nico Robin. That's perfect going even curve. They do get a coffin boat on 1, we're not really worried about it. We draw into a Kuma, which is amazing. We're just going to search out a 2K here. We have a pretty good hand, we have a lot of utility, we don't need another Kikanojo. They don't really have a lot they can do here, maybe a Perona to search something out. We will just take the 6, they play a Perona, searching out the OP14 Tashigi, drop another Perona, searching out the OP14 Mihawk. We draw into a Perona of our own, we're not worried about it, but this is a little important. Usually I wouldn't drop a Kikanojo on 4 unless I'm playing against a 4 life leader that just went down to 3, or if I'm like pretty confident in the matchup where they're not going to be able to KO it before we can drop down the Nico Robin. So we will play the Kikanojo down here because we know we have the Nico for 6, which will put them down to the 3, giving Kikanojo the range of giving us a life if it's KO'd. So we just drop the Kiku, we pass turn. We're expecting them to play the Tashigi this turn. They searched it out already, so you know, why wouldn't they? It's kind of also one of the best cards that the deck has. It is arguably the strongest 5 cost in my opinion, for the deck, that is. We are just waiting for the opponent to decide what they're going to do. They could technically play a 5 cost Perona as well, stunning the Kikanojo and the Lilith, but I don't think that would be the correct move. Chat. They play the Perona. Again, I don't think it was necessarily the correct move. They're just trying to eat less swings on the next turn. I'm not necessarily worried about it. They do rest the coffin boat. They're gonna put the 3 on Perona. We're just gonna take this and we get lucky with a Jinbei out of life. We're gonna slam the Nico Robin down here, putting them to 3. Then we'll just swing 2 5s in. Not really a big deal. We're trying to apply pressure every turn still, but we're not necessarily worried about going overboard with it. Sometimes Mihawk players will just eat a bunch of life and then throw down like a 8 cost kid, and that's pretty annoying for us to try getting over. So they do drop the Shanks resting, choosing to rest the Lilith. I think they maybe should have gone into the Nico Robin, but it's not really that big of a deal. We get lucky again seeing another Jinbei off of life. That's kind of crazy. They pass back to us. Here, we're really just trying to push into their life. I'm very confident if we can get them down to 1, we can just Jewelry Bonnie them on the next turn, or if we can get them down to 0, we can probably push lethal on the follow back. So we're just splitting our Dawn up. We're gonna go 5 with Jinbei, kind of just looking to get the card out of hand. Then the idea is 7 with Nico Robin, 7 with Kikanojo, 8 with Luffy. I do think we get a dead man's game here. We'll just swing 8. They're going to take it. We pass the turn. So here, as long as they don't drop the 8 cost kid, I feel pretty confident that we can probably go for lethal on the next turn. We're also sitting at like 3 lives, and we have multiple heal cards in hand. So, well, multiple Kumas, but still. we're feeling comfortable enough that I don't think we're going to die on this turn. Or maybe even a follow-up turn if we can't push lethal. We are just going to counter that with the Perona, putting another one in trash in case for some reason we need to bring it back off of a Thriller Bark trigger from trash. We will take this one. We see an unblockable event, which is always good. That's almost basically the win con of the deck. They are sitting with 8 Dawn, so I do realize at this point, like, hey, they could probably play an 8-cost kid here and then use leader effect to rest something and play the kid, or get the kid rested and put the Dawn on it to wall up. So I'm sweating that a little bit at this point. If they do that, we're probably going to have to go like a heal route, realistically. We do not draw into the best card off of life. A little tricky. They are only going to be able to freeze our Kikanojo here, since the Perona only freezes 2 5-cost or lower. Kind of the good thing about Jinbei being a 6-cost instead of a 5 or a 4-cost like other 2K counter bodies that play themselves. Cough, cough, Frankie, Satori. Kind of curious what the opponent's like planning with 5 Dawn. Mihawk does tend to run a lot of counter events, so I'm feeling a little weary on if we're actually going to be able to push lethal this turn. We're going to instead swing 5 again, see if they'll block out of it. If they do, maybe we swing all with Jinbei, but our idea is really to play down a Kuma, heal, and then also play a Perona to stun. They do give us the game there. Looking at what they have in hand versus what they also countered, they gave us a 2k counter, a 1k counter, and then they have a 10,000 fold, as well as I know you're strong, so we'll go all out from the start. So in total, they had 10k counter. They were a 6,000 lead. We could have only swung 14, so looking back at it, there was no way we were pushing lethal that turn had we tried to just go unblockable. So I'm happy we didn't try pushing it further than we needed to. Healing and freezing the Perona I felt was a better option, since we are limiting the number of swings that they have. They're at 0 life, so if they swing with the blocker, we just swing in really big on the follow-up turn. But we also had a decent bit of counter even without leaving anything up for the counter event. We still had 1, 4, 5, 6k counter, so I felt like we were pretty safe there. That's game 1 though. Let's jump over into the next one. Game 2, we are going to pair into Purple Dofi, opting to mulligan the hand. We also are able to go second, which is pretty clutch. We have a really good starter with Hogback on 4 and Nico Robin on 6, maybe even a Kuma follow-up on 8. We're very, very pleased. The only thing I'm a little dissatisfied with, I like putting down a 1 cost just so we can remove the sugar the first turn. As long as they don't play a Dillinger out as well. So if they just searched out a Dillinger, so they drop the Dillinger. Now we don't really want to swing here. We are just going to pass. That way if we swung in with the Luffy, they were just going to redirect it into the Dillinger, allowing them to ramp the Dawn back and search out another card. Then on their turn, they would get another search off of the sugar, which they're still going to do. They're still going to get all of those searches because we weren't able to remove the sugar sooner. But this way, we can at least also swing through the redirect into the Dillinger that we're going to have to deal with. They just play a Monet, ramp again, rest the sugar to search something out. They find a Virgo. That's fine. Virgo's also a brick. So we're going to swing the Hog back in here. We know they're just going to redirect it into the Dillinger. Not really a big deal. Our main goal is to clear both of those search bodies out this turn, and then we're just going to drop the Nico Robin and burn burn one of their lives. Not a huge deal at all. They're back down to one body. They do drop an 8-cost Doflamingo, and here I assume, yep, they play the Virgo out. We're going to trash off the Perona for that 5k swing. They're going to turn the Monet sideways and then just pass without swinging it. We don't have that much to do here, so we're really just going to poke small numbers. I like trying to poke as small into Doflamingo as possible. That way, when they use their leader effect to Dawn minus, they're not actually letting their characters be KO'd. Like if you swing a bunch of 5s and they redirect it into a Monet, the Monet doesn't get KO'd and they don't get to search the card off. So we're just going to swing a couple times, see how they react to it, but our overall game plan here is still to just play Akuma this turn. Even if we're leaving Dawn up, which I don't normally like to do, it's more important that they aren't able to redirect into something that would be KO'd. I did trash the Bonnie off that turn, and I guess I left 2 Dawn up so I could use the unblockable event as counter, but I don't really feel a lot of value in this matchup with that card as a main event, because they only play 1, maybe 2 blockers, since the leader effect makes anything a blocker essentially. So they do play out another 8-cost, drop a Rosinante. Here we're fine. We're just gonna stun after playing out the Perona off of the Hogback. We let the Nico Robin die, not that big of a deal. We draw into another unblockable event, and this is kind of where I realized, like, hey, we don't have that much to do this turn either. Let's heal again. We'll just trash off one of the unblockables. It's not a high value card in this matchup. So we will swing 7. This is going to be the biggest swing that we want to do this turn. If they redirect it into something, you know, they get the KO. Another thing to note, we swing the 7 first because when they slow beam to rest the Perona or whatever other character that we had, they're going to have to give us another card on top of it. So it's not that big of a deal in my opinion. We're trying to get the cards out of their hand. They also just Dawn minus down to 7, so they're not going to be able to play the Dofi, the 10 Dofi on this turn, which means we will still have a full board to attack with on the follow-up. Given a little thought here, we are going to 2k counter with the Kumasi. We don't need to take too many hits this turn. We unfortunately see an 8-cost kid, which is like fine, but it's not really what we would have wanted off of life. We're really hoping for triggers to continue to snowball. We're just going to let the Kuma go. No point in saving it. It also put a Kumasi on our life, which is funny. We get 2 bodies off of triggers. So again, noticing we're swinging 7 here. 7 is like the magic number into Dofi to play around slow beam. They do immediately have the slow beam, kind of anticipated it. We're really just going to throw another 5k. This is, again, we're just trying to make it where nothing actually gets KO'd when they use their leader effect. So they'll probably redirect here. Again, we're not letting anything get KO'd for value. We drop an 8-cost kid. We trash off the 3rd slow beam that we see in their deck. And here again, we're going to just discard the unblockable event. We got a Nico Robin counter off of the kid, and we get rid of a brick. The unblockable could be 3k counter. I don't really care that much about it though. I'd rather potentially have the Nico Robin. We get lucky with another trigger body. We don't need to trigger the Jinbei here though, since we have a full board already. We also now have 8k counter in hand, which is pretty solid. They do Divine Departure and they're going to try KOing the kid. We're just gonna let it go. There's no reason for us to counter out of it. Would have been our whole hand, and we still have a pretty full board, so we're fine just swinging back on the crackback. Swinging another 7 here in case they have the last slow beam. Opponent really thinking it out here. They do not have the slow beam, which is great for us. We're just gonna kind of divide our Dawn up, hoping that, hey, we'll swing a 9 or a 10 first, probably a 9, and then an 11 with the leader. The 9 should get cards out of hand or push them into using the leader effect. If it gets cards out of hand, we then swing bigger with the Luffy to get them to trigger the leader effect, and we potentially KO whatever we swing into, which means on the crackback they have one less card to swing into us with, which is perfect because we have a handful of counter. So we're just gonna go 4 with the hogback. When I swung the Kuma and they didn't give us the slow beam, I kind of assumed that they didn't have it. So I feel comfortable going 9 here, assuming that they will give us the leader effect. Now we're just going to put the rest of the 6 on. We'll swing 11 into Dofi. And looking, it's weird, they do have bullet string. They could have used the bullet string earlier, unless they drew it off of the Monet, which I'm thinking maybe they did. They don't have a lot of counter though. We swung 11 in. They have bullet swing, which puts them to 9, and then they have 2 1Ks. So that's going to be game 2. Let's jump into probably the tougher matchup of the video in game 3. Alright guys, for the last game of the video, we are going to play off against Emu, which I'm happy about. I'm glad we're getting a little bit more practice in before we run off to Nats. We're going to drop the Lilith, and we're just going to search out a Bonnie here. We got really lucky with our opening hand, actually having the unblockable event. Or I think we drew into the unblockable event, I guess. But we opened a 4 and a 6, which is really, really nice. If we can also find a 6-cost Nico Robin, we're really going to be killing it. They're going to swing 7. We kind of gamble here, which is a little funny because it pays off. We're going to get a Perona out of our life. Well, out of the trash, off of the Kumasi trigger out of life. Sometimes, I don't know, I don't usually dead counter. I try to make sure I counter over, that way I don't end up taking the life, but for some reason I was just feeling it in my bones to give them a 1k counter, just to put the Perona in trash, but it did pay off. Here we're just going to try pushing into their life as much as possible, so we're going to do a 5 from Perona, hoping they just give us counter. We're going to do a 5 from leader, also kind of just hoping that they give us counter, and then we're going to do 6 with the Lilith. This also makes it where they're probably going to swing their leader into the Lilith, which is fine because it's essentially a pseudo blocker. They also don't have a way to pop our Perona this turn, so I feel pretty comfortable. Like if they swung 7 here, we would have just countered out on the Perona, but they didn't, so we still have the body to swing with. Right there, they play out the Shirahoshi, and I discarded the Nico Robin in case we see a Hogback. Hogback on KO can actually play the Nico Robin back from the trash. So we're just going to kill off the Shirahoshi. That card's super annoying, and I don't want to deal with it for the rest of the game. We're going to heal with the Kuma, discarding the Jinbei. We don't really need the counter, not a big deal. We're going to let the Perona go. So far we've really just been trying to stay as healthy as we can, countering out of littler hits early in the game. We also get really lucky here being able to find the Nico Robin while they've still got 3 life. They've been countering a lot as well, kind of starving their own resources. So we get the Nico Robin, which is just going to push another life into the trash. Kind of a good bad situation. It gives us one less card, gives them one less card in hand to play with, but it also puts one more card into the trash, which is basically their second hand. So I don't know if you guys saw there, we dropped the Nico Robin and we actually get one of the 5 elders out of their life. That is amazing. We swing 7 with the Kuma. They're just gonna block it with the top hat. We're gonna swing another 7, hoping that they give us a life, and they do. Now I feel very, very confident. We are on 8 Dawn there, so we're gonna move into our 9 Dawn turn, and I'm pretty confident that we can just drop a Bonnie and really push cards out of their hand. Even if they give us a blocker, or play a blocker this turn, we're going to be able to put a lot of pressure in. So we're just still going to counter out of that 5k swing, trying to stay healthy until we can start dropping our 10 drops, or 9 drops, sorry. They will empty throne. They're just gonna kill off the Kuma. We let it die. Again, we're staying healthy until we can start dropping our big bodies. No reason not to trigger the little 3-cost Bonnie, dig a little deeper into the deck. We also get a Kikanojo in trash. We are kind of killing it with the triggers, chat. Perona trigger to bring a Perona back. It doesn't really matter what we freeze. They already swung with everything, but it's really important because it just puts one more body on board to push a card out of their hand on the next turn. So they don't play a blocker with their 4 remaining Dawn, and I think that's a big issue. I think on both of the last turns they made weird Dawn decisions where they used their empty throne to play their characters out for 3 instead of hard casting. Like if they hard casted the Saturn, they could have also then used the effect to like maybe play a different character. They could have maybe played the Noshiro a turn sooner. And like there they just played the Najuro for 3 and then they left 4 Dawn up. So like obviously they have a lot of counter in hand right now, a lot of counter events in hand, but it doesn't really matter. We're gonna go 11. This is gonna push one of the never existed out of hand. We're gonna get the Garp event, and then we're also gonna get a 2k. We're gonna swing a 5. This is just to push one more card out of hand. We're gonna give a 6. This is just to push a card out of hand. Surprisingly though, they give us a 1 cost never existed, so instead of just giving us 2k counter worth, they gave us 4k. So at this point I'm pretty sure they don't have a lot of non-event counter. They also give us ground death for a 5k swing, so I'm very certain that on the next turn we can just lethal them with leader unblockable. We don't really care that much about our bodies in play at the moment. They can swing into all of them because we're just going to try going for lethal on the next turn. They could have swung a 5 and reduced it to 4 and we would have let them have it. We are going to counter for the Perona there, but it's more so just to make them waste their leader swing into it if they wanted to get rid of it, or they have to pitch off a card to pop it with Marcus Mars. That was the only reason. Like I'm talking about, oh, I don't care about the characters, they can go into the characters and it's not a big deal. That is the reason that I saved the Perona there, just in case we theoretically did need to sit through one more round of 5 Elder and 5 little doofuses. But I'm very confident that we can probably push for lethal here. Especially if they decide to swing into our life and we trigger anything good. We're just going to let the Bonnie go because we don't have a way to save it. But as I said, we're really just trying to go for lethal. They only left 1 Dawn up here, so the max that they can counter out to if they have 2 2Ks in hand is 13. So this is just mathematically lethal. But that's the game, guys. That's the video. Let's jump over into the kind of breakdown review. I'll see you there. So guys, overall, I've really been enjoying Starter Deck 29 Luffy. It's a blast. Its color identity is very, very true to Yellow and how it plays. I'm a big fan of the unblockable event. Going first feels a little bit tricky, but I know that kind of strengthens up as we get the support from EP09, and I do look forward to testing the deck more when we move into the EP09 format. Other than that though, we're kind of going to diversify. It's not all about Starter Deck 29 Luffy. I want to try out different leaders. I want to add a little bit more color into the page. So we're going to still play Luffy. It's still probably going to be the main deck that I play for the time being, but we're gonna shift. We're gonna play a couple other leaders, see what else is out there, take some recommendations from people. Let me know what you guys want to see. If you made it this far, just thank you. I really appreciate you all. It's been great for jumping back into YouTube. Maybe leave a like, comment, subscribe. I should be live on Twitch February 16th when I get back, so think about joining in. But that's going to be the video, guys. I will catch you later.